CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
So, we're just going to, load all of this up and take it out.
But not open the collectors. Move along.
I can spare some time to indulge you. Sure. What did you have in mind?
Indulge me.
Found this in one of the hotel rooms. Minibar still had a bunch of stuff left in it. Why won't you rise to anything? Why are you just sitting there?
Michael, you couldn't do anything to me I haven't already done to myself. Julius gives you this, for a second, just this totally beatific smile, and he says with a completely straight face, "Love."
Bullshit. Bullshit. I knew that it was going to come down to something like this. I knew it.
He is properly smiling now.
Are you trying to make fun of me?
I am very amused, but no, I am not trying to make fun of you. It's true.
No. I've been putting up with stuff like this for a long time, yeah. I've been seeing pilots half as qualified as me get off the front lines, get to do whatever they want, not have to deal with all of this bullshit here on the front lines. We've got engineers here, we've got pilots. There's no one that can tune an engine and fly it like I can. I'm the best. Me! And I think that last part, comes out quite loud because they're over the balcony and you get a few of the DFS, NPCs who look up at that and see him doing it and are perhaps okay, Mike, chill out.
Sure, yeah.
Almost as if he's bragging in a way that might make him not popular with or make the squad popular with the DFS. If you think I'm going to sit around and let you stop me getting what I deserve, I'm going to get it. I'm the best, and I'm going to get it, even if I have to crawl and scratch and claw my way out of hell. I will get what's coming to me. I don't appreciate turncoats. Come on, taking the piss. That said, if you want to keep on getting in the way of bullets for me, you go ahead. But something's up here.
Nod. I don't doubt you'll get what you deserve.
You gave me an idea for how the bragging works.
Ooh.
So, Michael comes out of this conversation drunk, bitter, frustrated, it doesn't sound like getting anything that he wanted out of this. He didn't even get, the rise, the rise out of Julius that he wanted.
Yeah.
And out of, spite, out of, this was, a mess. I should just forget this. Does Michael actually put that tequila up on Hestiol eBay? Because that would be bragging, because you know who is watching Hestiol eBay for people uploading that. Members of the 501st Bastardos Brigade who you stole this base from?
Yeah, you know what? That works. That works for me.
Is the description just like a drunken rant about how he's the best engineer on the planet?
Yeah. Used by the best engineer on the planet and one sad old fuck.
Hold on, are you drunk enough that you would be aware that the 501st Bastardos squad are seeing this, and you don't care. Like, is there a bit on the page where it's like, shipping instructions, come to the DFS siege line at 10 p.m. tomorrow, and be ready to catch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
100%.
Incredible. Yeah, I'd say that definitely earns -2 trust. You gained 2 trust with the DFS on your last mission, so congratulations. Net 0.
Hell yeah, that's what that's for. It's for spending.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. It was a close run thing.
Wait, you gained 1 trust. You've got a negative relationship with every faction.
Holy shit!
No, to be fair, because of the way they roll over,
We didn't come out here to make
it's
friends.
like, with the exception of CalazCon, because you're at -2 with them, you are like 1 or 2 points of trust away from getting back to neutral with the Jevangelion Empire and with the DFS. But still, oof.
Incredible.
Do you have that new belief about Julius, or do you need a minute?
Oh, yes. I will need a minute, so I forgot I needed to write one of those.
All right. While you think about that, I have a question for you related to that, but just a general thing I want to check in on. Does anyone call out or talk to your direct superior, Renee Standingstone, about the obfuscation that occurred on your last mission, about concealing the involvement of the Serpent's Fangs?
No, because I'd probably have done the same.
I think Julius is too passive.
Yeah, of course.
I think Mike would, but we've had a few Mike scenes in a row. So.
You know, if this is over a weekend or whatever, this could have happened.
Yeah, we don't have to go in like chronological order. Yeah, because I think the other fun angle to this is like you had a very rough supply roll. We handled this off recording, but you rolled 1 dice for how many supply points you would get, and you got very lucky and rolled a 6. And I think it's interesting if we incorporate that into a fiction. If there could be a sense among the squad of like, we barely got any pay for a mission where we were very likely to tangle with CalazCon and the Serpent's Fangs. Did our command obscure the Serpent's Fangs' involvement, partially so that they could say we were going up against Small Fry and cut the costs?
Oh.
That is something any of you could plausibly believe, I think. You'd have good grounds for that.
I think that makes sense to me, yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if Mike would bring this up directly with Renee, unless it was when he was drunk. In which case, if he bumps into him in that situation, yes. But I think Mike's definitely been shit-talking around the Mechanist staff, for sure. It's lucky we were able to drag in all of these wrecked up hover bikes and things like that for pseudo-salvage. If we hadn't managed to do that, we'd have been screwed.
Yeah, and I think another good thing to bring up here is that because of one of Michael's mech items, your sponsor decals, you get a bonus supply point from another DFS squad, the Farm Upstate, who are an R&D institution.
Yeah.
I bring it up because, sure, they might just pay you, but, like, I enjoy the idea of it being, like, a bit of a lucky dip. Like, it's like, 1 week you get the DFS's latest attempt at doing, like, Soylent Green again, or something. 1 week you get, like, a bunch of double-sided screws that, like, work in zero gravity, or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, and that's how it's, whether or not it's a mechanical supply point is whether or not it's useful or not. I like that. I think that's fun.
Do you have that belief, or shall we keep moving with someone else? We've still got a fair amount of downtime to get through.
Do you have any suggestions, Julia? Something that might be interesting to kind of play off with?
I mean, something along the lines of you just being mad that I won't antagonize you.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know how to phrase that exactly.
Michael has seen Julius being, like, perfectly passive and has just continued to justify his distrust in terms of, like, Julius is being so nice because he is, on some level or another, here to usurp me.
Yeah, Junius is here to usurp me. I like that.
I love that. Like, there was absolutely no indication of that at all in our conversation. Yet it makes perfect sense as a belief you would have.
Beliefs can be wrong.
Extremely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beliefs can be extremely wrong. That's true.
Does anyone else want to have a really depressing conversation with me, or would we like to do something else?
Really are just doing the revolving door here. I'm just picturing like everyone gets in the Black Rose Utena elevator with Julius.
God.
It's a love quadrangle with the core being one old, depressed man.
People just cannot stop
Is
projecting
this what
onto
Disco
him.
Elysium is?
This is what Disco Elysium's about, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, step right up.
Yeah, okay, who has another some more downtime stuff they'd like to get through?
I have a non-Julius related downtime.
Yay.
Please,
Controversial.
let's give Sabriel a breather.
I kind of want to establish something, actually, first, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. So, because I am the artificial, when I do need to cut loose, which I may or may not do during this downtime, I need to refuel, and we established in character creation that I have a specific kind of advanced mech fuel from a particular manufacturer that I require to refuel. I just wanted to talk to you, Elspeth, about how easily accessible we're saying that is for me in the base currently.
I think the answer is I don't want to unduly threaten your ability to cut loose in broadly the same ways as any of the other pilots, unless it would be an interesting thing to happen in fiction, an interesting consequence that makes sense. I think that you're probably good for that, but I think, there probably is. We can have it as a background contextual thing that affects you're relatively shielded from, for other people who either directly or indirectly perhaps use this fuel, and they're struggling, perhaps. You are not, because you are military.
Okay, gotcha.
If
Alright, that's
sense.
fine. Okay, cool. In that case, I might need a little bit longer to come up with what I actually want to do with my downtime activities, because that was on the list if I did need to do something about it. So, if someone else has something they want to get done, they can step up.
Okay, you still have two actions.
Alright, here's an easy one. I'm going to start a long-term project.
Oh, yeah, please tell us about this.
I will. So one of our key sort of objectives as far as a squad goes is to sort of gain access to and hold the airport, for want of a better word, or the spaceport, I suppose. What I would like to do is, as we don't have the squad ability, which is secret routes and back passages, I'd like to try and work out a secret route into the spaceport.
Alright.
For when the time comes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about an amusement park, so immediately I think of the weird tunnels in the background of Disneyland. But I'm also thinking maintenance tunnels, I'm thinking, potentially in the storm drains. I'm thinking from as close to our base as I can get, but crucially into the maintenance pathways of the spaceport.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Okay.
What do you think that is clockwise, Chief?
It's got to be 6 or 8. I'm trying to balance, this is a big swing and one that's pretty important for squad versus the amount of time we have.
I'm not adverse to it being 8 in terms of... I think that's still tenable if it's something that the remainder of the squad would also be interested in.
Yeah, true.
I was going to say, this is something I could see, making a roll on as well.
Yeah, I think it's, something that... I feel like a good long-term project is something that you just keep hacking away at. It's almost like some kind of project over a long time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm with you. 8 is good for, doable, but it's going to be, a challenge, especially when this is something that a bunch of other squad members have incentive to contribute on. So yeah, 8-step clock, secret route to the airport.
I'm going to describe it as discover a back passage to the spaceport.
Yes.
Or discover an unguarded route.
Sounds good. Yeah, so tell me what your first avenue of figuring this out is.
I think this is a prowl roll. I think what this is the traditional underground passage kind of shot. The camera is looking down a tunnel. It is a round camera with like bright white light at the end of it, and as it is a sewer with True descending down on like a grappling rig or something like that. She has a torch tucked behind one of her ears, her big feline ears, and her tail is swishing for balance. And of course, you can hear the little drip, drip, drip of water from whenever it was last properly stormy in the background.
Nice. Are you getting help on this?
Ooh, great question. Does anyone else also want to be suspended down into the storm drain, presumably from the truck? If not, maybe she takes board squad.
I mean, I'm down if no one... Oh, yeah, go for it.
Group?
Yeah,
Group
no, I don't mind
outing.
helping.
Kids, we're going on a field trip. I like the idea of it being Julius.
Okay, yeah.
So, alright, sick. So that's presumably Prowl with 2 dice.
Yeah, sounds like it to me.
Oh, nice.
And that's a 6, baby!
Ooh, 4 and
Damn,
6.
already
Big
nearly halfway
whammies.
there.
Were I to be the faithful sort, I might say that I'm living on a prayer. Right, okay, so, how many is 6? Is that 3 notches?
Yep.
We love to see it. So, maybe I'm not making the full distance there, and maybe this is over the course of a day again. We can see the, it's the same shot, but different accesses, the labels of the storm drain tunnels in the foreground are changing, and, the camera is cutting back to a map where True is crossing off tunnels which don't seem to lead in the right direction, and she's got a much more directed kind of cluster of tunnels to maybe work for future projects. And then maybe pinning it in the conference room back in Terminal Company base.
Yeah, I think it's just Julius is there just to help you cover more ground.
Sorry,
Nice.
I forgot Julius was there for a moment.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just felt like I should contribute to the scene because I gave you a dice.
That's so valid of you. And maybe, again, I don't know why, but I like the idea of True ensuring that everyone has food and stuff. So, it's takeout containers or MREs or some combination of the two, sitting around in the conference room with, a sizable chunk of the map cut away or crossed off. The group all sat eating together. It's True, it's Julius if he wants to be there, of course. And, it's whatever hapless members of Board Squadron that she could bring along as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
Nice.
I have a short downtime I could run if no one else wants to do anything that is like fairly unconsequential.
I have a question I actually want to follow up on while we're talking about au pair. True.
Yo.
Could you tell us about your drive and, some of its background?
Drives are fun.
Yep.
My drive is to free Michael.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about the background to that, or do we want to wait until you have a scene together to talk it over?
We'll have a scene to talk it over. There's the potential for a cut loose here, either now or maybe after next mission. And I feel like, we can scroll the camera a little further back here first. But what is your question?
So my question, which will maybe inform that scene or that cut loose whenever it happens. Michael has very recently declared a rival and got, extremely pissed and further entrenched in...
He's engaging in fandom
his
drama.
duties through his disagreements with Julius. So I guess my question is, I feel like that has to be reflected in Michael's demeanour around the base or interacting with others. I feel like that's probably fair to say.
I mean, he did shout that he was the best pilot in the entire army or whatnot from the balcony.
And the best engineer.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, other than those notable instances, what does that look like? Does True notice, and how's she feeling about that?
I mean, of course True notices. She is acutely aware of Michael at all times.
Yeah.
In terms of how she feels about it, as is often her sort of feeling with regards to Michael, she feels like she's let him down.
Okay.
Michael doesn't deserve all these friends.
Well, there you go.
That sounds like something we will have to get into. Okay.
Nah, I'm sure it'll never come up. I wouldn't worry about it.
And actually, just in case it doesn't come up this session, can we get your beliefs about each other?
True's belief about Michael is, I thought Michael had gotten out. I'm guilty, and I'll make sure he walks free.
Mm-hmm.
My belief about True is, I can't lose True again. I need to get her out.
That makes me so happy.
It rhymes.
I think one thing we can say to at least foreshadow is that True is a trucker and was kind of... Do you think we can say about... you've recently, come to the planet Hestial, right?
Do we want to just do the downtime scene? I don't know that we have a the scene in mind, but I'm just literally it feels like we're talking a lot around Michael and True's relationship, and we've had a little bit of time on screen together, but...
Are you thinking a second cut loose for True, or something else?
Michael doesn't need to cut loose. Thanks, Michael.
You could...
You do, don't you?
Yeah, I'm asking if you want this to do the cut loose with Michael.
Yeah, I think this should be the cut loose.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Alright.
And then we can work around that. True can still be present in other scenes and whatnot.
Quick check for that. You have 5 stress, so there's a 1 in 6 chance that you overindulge.
Elspeth, everyone knows dice don't work like that. It'll be fine. See, it's fine. Oh god, I'm going into the next mission with 3 stress. That's not good.
Fine.
That's a 2.
That's a 2. I mean, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's not great.
It's a different kind of bad. I appreciate you trying to sugarcoat it, but it is simply a different kind of bad.
It's milder bad.
Alright. Yeah, tell us about this cut loose. Set the scene.
I think Michael is midway through tuning something and notices that there is just the gentle shifting of someone moving nearby. The cockpit to the... I've immediately forgotten the name of your mech and thought Psycho Mantis. I thought you'd want to know this.
Back to Mantis.
I see you've been playing Super Mario Sunshine.
You see you've been playing Beam Saber.
Oh, he knew. And my controller's rumbling. So, essentially, at some point, True is of course a cat girl. At some point, True has found her way into the cockpit of the Vector Mantis and is just sitting kind of arms crossed over her stomach, her hat kind of tucked down over her eyes, and is just sat lightly dozing in the doorway, sort of waiting for... I like the idea that maybe Mike was, trying to get that extra 2% from one of the compressors, and that had taken a couple of hours or something like that, and, she didn't want to intrude, of course.
But the weight is off, and it's really screwing with his calculations, and he's not entirely sure why, and he's only just gotten around to checking... He's only just got around to checking the cockpit.
Oh, that's so funny. It's acting like this. There's a pilot in here already. Very funny to me.
The kind of cockpit opens up and he's like, right, who's fucking in... Oh, True.
Kind of stirs.
Immediately kind of calms down.
Pushes back her hat. Oh. Hey, Mikey. Sorry,
Hey.
You were in the middle of something and I didn't want to... No, you've got a
it's
lot
all right.
going on
It's all right.
already.
Oh, yeah, that bloody big mech with the balls taking up all my time. Oh, you wouldn't believe it.
She kind of sits back a little bit so that there's space for him to sit down too.
I think it's quite a cramped cockpit.
Oh, yeah,
I think
100%.
there's not a lot of... Yeah, we're kind of just, very close to one another. It's like...
Close proximity.
How are you doing? You holding
I
up?
think you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. If I could have called back in, I would have done.
No, I know.
I was pretty sure you wouldn't be here. I'm sure you had your reasons, but...
Yeah, well, things got complicated.
Her eye kind of turns and you see the truck in the background with Longreach kind of leant against it. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I was gonna quit, go off and do something that wasn't military. Turns out I just couldn't do it.
I'm sorry, Mike. I should have taken you with me.
From what I gather, you probably had to cut and run. I thought you were dead.
Yeah, I know.
And you turned back up on a delivery.
Yeah, I know.
And then, a bunch of cosplaying fucks, one of which apparently has been down in my workshop I'm not happy about. Goddamn invade our invasion.
They invade your invasion. Gives like a little chuckle.
So we're going to take this spaceport. We're going to make sure that civilians, you included, can get out of here. Right now, all of our space fleets, we can't get reinforcements if we don't get control of it. The fuck?
Mike, I'm not a civilian for you to take care of.
Well, that's not what the records say.
The records say I'm dead, Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're not. We've not really had much of a chance to talk since this all went down. Enough mechs are there.
Yeah, I'd weigh in, but... Well, you seem to have plenty of grease monkeys. I'm sure I'd get in the way. I'm married now.
Oh?
Yeah, not dead and married. Well, I would have invited you, but I didn't know where to send the letter.
Yeah. Damn. Some backwater somewhere. Fixing up mechs and working below my pay grade. Oh, no.
Is this what your pay grade looks like?
Oh, this? Taps the Vector Mantis. This is my pride and joy. This is my ticket out of here.
You gonna run for the border in this thing?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it so people can't ignore me. No turncoat captains. No hotshot flyboy dipshits. And get you out to get some pull, get some sway. That was the plan.
I can't imagine anyone ever ignoring you, Mikey.
You'd be surprised.
So surprise me.
Well, there's that old fuck for one. Couldn't even get a rise out of him.
Do you find it ironic that that's bothering you?
Well, I didn't before. Thanks for that, True.
Welcome.
Now I'm annoyed about being annoyed.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feedback loop, huh?
Hmm.
You know, got diagnostic tools around here. Deal with that kind of thing.
Not for the old noggin, I'm afraid. Tapping head with the old engineering glove.
I think she snorts, blows her hair out of her eyes.
You want to talk about something?
No, not, just, checking in, I guess. Kind of slowly pushes up to her feet, pats a hand over Mike's shoulder for a second. Don't stay in here all night, alright?
What?
You got a room, use it.
Yeah.
I want to let board squadrons spread out into there.
I think as True's leaving, Mike turns around and goes, True?
Yeah.
I'm doing it again, aren't I?
Oh, yeah.
Taps the Vector Mantis. Yeah, I'll try and work on that.
I mean, it's a process, right?
Hmm.
Just stomps off camera.
Yeah. Mike waits until you're really far away, and then presses a couple of buttons on the engineering glove, and like a tool comes out the bottom, and it's like a little handheld vacuum cleaner, and he's cleaning up the inside of the cockpit for any hairs that have been left.
So rude!
I know! That's why he waited until you'd gone.
He's a scrunkly little man. It's exactly like Disco Elysium, I assume.
He's not that scrunkly. He's a big boy.
Spiritually scrunkly.
Anyway, can I run a relatively quick scene?
Please.
Yes.
I would like to train prowess.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, which is I would like to get into a sparring match with the leader of Board Squadron.
I see.
Okay. You, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't like a gym for this, or like...
We have the upgrade, so there has to be. I assume.
For something like that.
Yeah, it's a hotel.
Yeah.
It's a fully functional international suite hotel. Of course it's got a gym in there.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. How do you think that goes for you?
Bad. I lose every match.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
like I was saying earlier, like, okay, Julius has no points in any prowess skills.
Oh.
Yeah. No, like I was saying to Mike earlier, like the whole like being fucking huge thing is fully for show. He doesn't have it anymore, right? He's been mostly like an inside of the cockpit kind of guy, and he just like has not been in a straight up fight in a long time. He doesn't remember how to do it.
Oh, does Michael see this? Does Michael hear about it?
He has to.
Yeah, I think Michael also doesn't have any points in struggle. He only has one prowess skill. Yeah, he has one prowess skill. He doesn't have any points in struggle, but he does have 1 point in wreck, which tells you all you need to know about Michael's fighting style.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just Birdie knocking him over like 9 or 10 times, right? And him just like getting up and being like, again. And by the end of it, he is like not getting completely pooped on, right? Like it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, no, all right. He's it's starting to remember. I have one more point before I can get a point in struggle.
Oh, yeah, I think like at first, especially with like your reputation and your age, I think at first Birdie's like trying to be patient, but you could tell there's like a behind mentally he's thinking like a little bit like, huh? Really? But then as it goes on, he like gets a real sense of the like actual effort that you're putting in. You maybe like tell him a bit about your background and how like this is something that you've fallen out of the practice of. And then I think at the end was he like saunters up to you, shakes your hand and says, well, I know for one, but you sure as hell aren't fucking us over, because if you were, you'd give me more of a reason to want to keep you around. Smiles.
Yeah, I think he thinks that's pretty funny, right? I think that gets a smile out of him.
Can I segue that into my downtime activity?
Yes.
Yeah, because I also want to train with Board Squadron. So,
tell us about your training session with Board Squadron, Ipse.
Yes. So I think what Ipse has decided is that after sort of fighting on the ground with Board Squadron, I want to specifically sort of run some drills with them and simulate some little combat scenarios and things to basically integrate myself into the squad better if that scenario happens again. And I think I'd pre-arranged this with Birdie. So at the end of Julius's sparring, I think I actually show up, in the gym, as it were. But I'm there to meet Board Squadron, and I walk up to the ring and sort of look to Birdie and go, Sergeant Dox,
Ipse?
If we could continue with the training that I requested, assuming you're not still busy. And my head swivels a little bit to look at Julius's slightly battered face.
Busy? I mean, I'm always busy, but I figured for what you're after, you sit in on our stuff, and I think it'll cover everything you want to cover. Best way to get settled with us, know what we're about, is to go through the same shit that we do. You'll have to keep up, though.
I'll try my best. I don't think we need to zoom too much in on all the details of the combat training or anything, but I also do want to get a bit of a kind of read on what Board Squadron thinks about the mission and how it went while I'm training with them.
Yeah, okay. I would say the thing about Board Squadron is that, and I'm not sure, I don't know if we've necessarily said this explicitly on screen before, the reason for Board Squadron's name is that they are part of a paired set. There is Board Squadron and Sword Squadron, or rather, there were. Sword Squadron was wiped out entirely during landing. Birdie has had to lead his team in adapting to being without an entire other squadron that they were supposed to be complementary with. And this is kind of reflected in the edges and flaws that we have written down for them. We have independent and fearsome, but also eager and wild. I think there's a certain kind of bravado, a sentiment you often hear, or maybe something you hear one of the soldiers literally say is like, I thought when we got assigned to work with the big fucking robots, there'd be an end to all this subtlety. But instead, we have the big robots, and they're still expecting us and the robots to, dance on the head of a fucking pin. In fact, that sounds like something Birdie might say. I think Birdie might fully say that. There were a lot of, like, fiddly, like, ifs and, like, limitations and dependencies in the last mission. And I think that, like, these are people who cope with the kind of shitty situation they're in by, like, pushing through it and doubling down. So I think there's a bit of a foolhardy sense of, like, when are they going to let us go all out? You know?
Gotcha, yeah.
Oh, we had a description of Birdie on camera.
We haven't. No, thank you. Yeah, Birdie is like balding, kind of weathered, grizzled-looking man in his, I would say, like, early 40s. The touchstone that we had for this was the wrestler John Moxley. Birdie looks in some ways like just like a fairly, like, regular middle-aged guy who has also just been in a lot of fights, both officially within the military and unofficially outside of it. We have another John Moxley, I understand from the call. Am I missing any vital, like, affects here?
I think we have several Moxley understanders here. I would just like to add that if you're not familiar with his current work, that would be Dean Ambrose from WWE.
Yes.
Maybe he has an earring, I'm not sure. But we don't need to go, like, too much into, like, it being exactly the same, but it's definitely that kind of vibe of as being just, like, a mean, rolling shoulder kind of dude, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright. Downtime-wise, we are left with one more from Ipse and one more from Michael.
Oh, also, one other point, if I may, about Sword Squadron. It's probably worth pointing out at this point that our legislator, Kagan Fishy Fishel, is actually the sole survivor of Sword Squadron.
Yes, yeah. Something that very much motivated his run for the legislature.
Beating out Renee, who was probably not that happy about the swell of support the sole survivor of Sword Squadron got to get voted in.
Yeah, especially given the, like, probably about 30-year age difference between them. Probably felt slightly embarrassed by this, and yeah, I get the impression that Fishy absolutely, like, ran on a platform of, like, we have immediately been very drastically impacted by an incredible fuck-up from command in the loss of the rest of my squadron. We need someone who was there and will make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, well.
Ipse, do you have any thoughts for your last action, or...?
Right now, I strongly think I'm just gonna double dip on enhancing my mech and get some more time on the training facility.
Did you want to run that scene?
Well, I was going to ask, just in case that was the same as what Mike might be doing, but...
Oh, I thought Ipse wanted to do a scene with Julius.
I do, but I don't think there's a particular downtime action associated with that, so we can just slot that in anywhere. That's just a thing that's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, another round of enhancement with Michael sounds good.
I mean, I'd probably again be getting assists from Michael, just explaining the facility a bit. If there's time when you're working on Vector Mantis, then maybe I even go and observe a little bit to see what you've done with your mech.
Yeah, because I've got one action left, and it's kind of a toss-up between doing another enhance, because you can enhance more than once per downtime, unlike the training ones, or possibly helping out True's long-term project clock.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm going to go with True's long-term project clock just after the scene that we've had, because Mike realizes that he's kind of maybe been being a bit of a dick around people that aren't doing mech things. Because he was good with Ipsy because he was in a good mood that particular time, and then things went immediately to shit. But yeah, we can have this scene. Do you have an idea about what kind of, if filling in enhanced track's going to be like an additional quirk, or if it's going to be maybe a point in one of your mech driving stats, because that could colour kind of what we're kind of doing.
I think I kind of still want to leave it vague because I've not mechanically made my mind up with that yet. So I think that'll be something that happens on the third use of enhance, where it's actually going to roll over and fill the track. So we'll pin that down a bit more, probably. Well, hopefully next downtime. So yeah. Yeah,
that makes sense. I think just in general terms of the scene, then it can be because it can be fitting, because we talked about replacing some of this parade armor with something a bit more substantial, and so we can maybe get that scene. We could get like a couple of different like weights of armor, I'm just like seeing which one fits better in terms of like your ability to pilot the mech. So Mike will wax lyrical about how the mech is an extension of the body, and you should feel natural when you're piloting it. Which I as an artificial, I don't know how that would resonate.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting concept to say generally. So I think, and as well, something that, especially with your sort of knack for understanding machinery, you'll see me while we're testing out like this, obviously, like, you know, getting in the cockpit, getting set up in the mech and everything. And you pretty clearly see that this is like, it's a bit of a weird fit for me in the cockpit as well. Like, this was designed for someone else. It was designed quite comfortably for a person. And there's probably a lot of controls which I can bypass just because of my artificial nature. There's probably more things where I can directly interface with the mech controls. So there's like buttons and panels which I basically don't need to use any of. Old mechanical controls that I'm bypassing.
Does it look comfortable?
I don't think Ipse ever looks comfortable.
Oh no! Oh no!
I think if you sit down, you start doing some stuff. Michael will be looking at it, and he's just like, no, out. Spanners, no. And Spanners has like got such a big to-do list, and this is another item on the bottom of it. And it's like, okay, this seat is correct. Okay, just okay. Take a seating position and like get a scan. We'll get something custom for you in there. Like it, you should feel. And I think we catch like Mike starting to get annoyed about something, and then just be like, you see, happy place talking about next. You need to get rid of wasted motion. It's real good, the interfacing you're doing. That's very impressive indeed. So we need to take advantage of that, make it so the whole thing is like is more of an extension of you. It feels and it looks like you're piloting someone else's mech, which I know that you are, but a lot of mech piloting is in the head. If we can get this feeling like your mech, I think that's going to sort out a lot of things. And so you'll try and work on the cockpit and making it like more of a custom like seats that will more fit your unique body. That would be.
Yeah, I think honestly the solutions you start coming up with pretty quickly, but it needs to be more robust. Like it needs to be designed to hold a robot. So yeah, but I think that's a good enough sort of idea of what we're doing to take my second round of enhancement for me. So yeah,
I can roll on this long-term project, and then you can do your scene with Julius.
Yeah. Did True also want to do a scene with Julius, or am I?
Yeah, so there are plans there. They got sort of confused because a piece of information came to light in the middle of this recording session that is, I'm trying to basically like make a character design decision, and I can't make the character design decision I thought I wanted to because turns out it would be cribbing from another squad. So I am trying to work out an aesthetics thing.
Sweet, okay.
Yeah. Which might just happen in the scene, collectively. Who knows?
I say, yeah, tell us about how you're filling that long-term project in.
So True has been down into the storm drains, right?
Yes.
And I think the way that Michael's going to try and deal with this is like a little bit more technical. Shocking, I know. Rather than go down there directly, like study some blueprints, I think. Yeah, we'll go for study on this one. Yeah, he's going to try and get hold of the blueprints of the spaceport and see if he can study a way in. Or I guess actually, how would you get those? They're going to be protected. So he's going to try and interface and hack something to try and get copies of like blueprints to go over. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, go for it. Are you getting any help on that?
Yeah. Who else is good at like interfacing type stuff?
I mean, if we've mentioned Ipse having some sort of like digital connection capacity, then that could work.
I think that would make sense if you are available to assist Ipse. Like, you can help me out with something after doing some of these enhanced actions.
Yeah, I'd say absolutely. You've already lent me a lot of your time. I'd be happy to assist.
All right. Well, we're going to need to do a bit of an old hacky-do, as True might say. I think this might even be like we have to go out somewhere, like in the same way that we hacked into the comm system in the mission itself, like actually head out and go to like a Calazar like server rather than just doing it from base. So we get a chance to actually like head out in like, I guess, more civilian disguise and see if we can like hack into something and get hold of it. So get seasoned walking down the street. So 5 and a 5.
I believe that is 2 more ticks.
I guess we managed to hit something. It takes a while. Maybe we keep our heads down. There's like Calazar security, so we see them walking around. Like it's a tense moment as it's that classic scene with the downloading. They're nearly here. We just get it out and manage to scoop away, and like then we dive aside, or like Michael dives aside, and cops or the security walk past, and then we just see Michael's head popping up from like a pile of body pillows or something that he's dived into to try and hide from it.
Great.
Before we get into any of the various scenes, can we roll to try to fix my mech again?
Sure.
Yes.
I don't know if we need to play the scene out unless you have more things you need to yell at me.
But I think it's just super awkward. Like,
yeah, no, sounds great. Sounds great. Which is to say, it is super awkward for Mike, and Julius is just no selling. It's just like, yep, here's what we need to do here. Here to do my job. So that's spending a material to take an extra downtime, and that's 3 dice for the roll, I believe.
Yes.
Ooh, 5, 4, 1.
Can I take another material and finish it? Because that would put it up to 6, and then I could be down to level 1 harm.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
That sounds like a good idea.
All right, everyone all right with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think we're pretty flush, aren't we?
Cool. What is the level 1 version of gouged?
Skimmed. Dented.
Scratched.
Dented is
Crumpled.
good. I like dented.
Yeah, alright.
So that first roll was a 5, 4, 1, and the second one was a 2, 1, 3, so it was only one.
Oh, I was just thinking I'd bump the 5 up to a 6, but it
of
literally
course,
doesn't make a
sorry.
difference.
Yeah,
it's the same
absolutely.
result. So
Yeah. The only difference it is if Michael had got a crit, you would have removed the harm completely.
Oh yeah. Well, then yeah, it's literally always better to do that, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is 2 material.
And you're doing pretty well. You've still got 3 personnel and 2 material left.
It's awkward, and towards the end, it's a very bad roll again. That can inform the narrative that Michael's just getting sick of working on this mech, and it's just like, don't fuck this up again. And maybe there's like a mirrored scene of Julius had mentioned a former mechanic who was also chastising him for fucking his mech.
Oh yeah, no, and like the moment of Julius telling him that the mechs are held together through the power of love probably is just like flashing in his head. Getting increasingly irritated, maybe.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love the image of like Michael working lower down on the mech, and just like we get an angle where it's just like the shadow of that like impossibly perched bull like looming over him. There's something I would like to hit at some point before we end, but any other sort of free play scenes you want to get in, because I very well might work it into those.
I think we could run the Julius Ipse scene now.
Yeah, sure. At some point, I'm gonna come and find Julius. You said earlier that he's brooding quite a lot?
He might not be brooding right now. He might be doing, like, his job right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
His job in what sense? I mean, like...
I think he might be on, like... No, it doesn't make a whole lot. I'm just gonna think maybe he's on, like, mess duty, right? Like, maybe he's, like, peeling potatoes. Right? Because somebody's gotta.
That's true. Somebody's gotta. Sure, I think, yeah, in that case, I'll come and find you in the mess kitchen, I guess, in that case. And I think to you, and also to the other DFS soldiers and crew we have around here, it's a little bit odd. Ipse doesn't go to the mess particularly often. There's very little reason for me to be here. So that's a little bit alerting people to my presence, quite obviously. But I walk into the room and just look to you and say, Pallbearer, we should talk.
Yes?
I've been reviewing the reports and data from our last mission. I believe that you acted somewhat rashly, and in doing so may have endangered our squad and the mission.
At what point do you believe I acted improperly?
You went outside the rules of engagement, even if you believe you may have followed them to the letter, in order to engage a hostile force that, prior to your actions, would not have had any interest in engaging us.
That's correct. I felt that it was important to prevent the Serpent's Hand from reinforcing the airport.
I was not aware this was a kind of strategic decision that a second lieutenant would be making, but if it's part of some additional assignment that you had, then I would be very interested to know it.
Well, frankly, the second lieutenant part is a formality. I've been told expressly I shouldn't give anyone any orders.
Furthermore, I believe that your actions distracted both your own presence and that of Burnout from reinforcing the front line of our soldiers defending the arena against the vermin.
Did you experience difficulties?
Some, yes.
Any more than the average amount that an enlisted soldier might in the process of combat?
The combat was manageable, it is true, but it would have been more so with armoured support on site.
And the Serpent's Hand would have entrenched themselves at the Hestiol airport.
That may be so. Either way, I need you to understand that the combat effectiveness and mission accomplishment of this squad should be all of our priorities.
I think for a moment you see a Julius Thermidor we haven't seen, which is that he is affronted and arrogant, and he kind of draws himself up and like sort of stands very straight, right? He puts the potato peeler down, which he has not stopped since this conversation began. And he sort of gives you this look, right? And like 10 years ago, receiving that look from Julius Thermidor would have like withered a cadet on the spot, right? He brings this all to bear, and then he suddenly slumps and he says, "Yes, thank you for pointing this out. I will take it under consideration."
Please see that you do, Second Lieutenant. If your actions continue to endanger the squad recklessly, I'm afraid I'll have no other alternative than to file a report with our direct superior.
Yeah, I think he probably salutes, right? I don't know what Ipse's rank is, but like I said, Julius's rank is pretty much a formality.
I don't know if I have a rank. I'm a robot. I don't know how it...
You are talking to me like a superior officer,
I know.
though.
I'm exploiting the lack of a definite rank structure here.
Yeah, no, and I think that, honestly, he's probably a little bit not at home with the DFS rank structure anyway, right? So he probably assumes that in some capacity you outrank him and he salutes.
Yeah. I politely turn and walk out of the room.
Wow, okay.
God, that was not what I expected there. That's fun.
Oh, Ipse gets a rise out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Well, all Mike does is like, yeah, you're a shithead. You're gonna, you're gonna betray everybody, and it's like he knows none of those things are true. You know.
No, yeah, I've got the angle of like, again, I was with Board Squadron fighting on the ground, so.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
that's so good.
Michael's whole angle is like, you're doing a good job, and here's why that's fucked up. Not occurred to him to go for the angle of, no, you're doing a bad job.
I'm doing the, you want to be a hero? You want to be a hero in this military structure that we have?
Okay. Did Julius and True want to have a chat?
So, yes, but... Okay, I want to play the scene, and then I think at some point we're going to have to pause the scene because the direction I was going to take it isn't necessarily available right now, and I want to sort of put it to the group to sort of get their opinions on stuff.
Okay, I'm curious. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so where's this taking place? Right, I think maybe we're both, like, on break or, like, off duty.
Yeah, I'm not adverse to that. I mean, the other point I had is maybe this is during working on True's long-term project. So we're just walking through these awful tiny corridors and tunnels and access hatches.
I like that, but I think it needs to be like, Julius has come to find you, and he has a question. And he is like, genuinely, he seems kind of embarrassed, which is like a new look for him.
I mean, True has a room, and she is there some amount of the day.
Yeah, no, then he comes and like knocks on your door.
I was then about to be like, but True is not there. No, I think True's room is fairly neat, but then there is just kind of a layer. She probably has like a wardrobe pile, for example. She allows herself like a 1 meter square of just utter chaos, but the rest of the space is fairly tidy. Not hospital quarters, but fairly tidy still. She's used to living in quite small spaces, I think. Julius, come on in.
Hello. He comes in, I think he, probably sits down on whatever is available.
There's a bench and her bunk.
Yeah, no, he sits down on the bench. He says, it has come to my attention that I have a certain reputation in this system and the conflict more generally. Would that be accurate to say?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, of course.
Yes. I was not especially subtle last mission. Flashback to Julius on a fucking building, yelling about how he is going to, kill all these Jovangelians.
When you led a one-man crusade against the Joves? No, I don't think that was especially subtle.
Well, it is important. I believe that there might be some combat effectiveness in leveraging this reputation.
I can believe it, certainly.
Easiest way to do that, other than the ways that I have already done, would be to develop a symbol or a standard of some kind that could become to be associated with me. It's effective, visible, everyone knows. He is just he doesn't like this.
Yeah, you've come to me to talk marketing, huh? Kind of squints.
Yes, well, Michael wouldn't be amenable.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think just about the entire compound heard your little drinking contest the other night.
Just, nod. I would like your assistance in coming up with some sort of a flag or standard that I could fly in combat if necessary.
Alright, I mean, let's workshop it. See what we can find out.
I think this is probably a good place to cut this scene, just because I don't know what this is. Because I had an idea, and then I realized that there was another squad that was themed around that idea, and I'm just like, well, I don't know.
As a starting point, what had you vibing with your previous idea?
I like the idea of something symbolizing renewal and just the ability to just leave a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the thing is, the idea that I had was a hermit crab, but they're fully just some hermit crabs already.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is something I noticed half an hour into this recording, and then frantically was like, oh god, I need another idea. If it sucks, hit the bricks.
I was going to say the ancient proverb.
Yeah.
If it sucks, hit the bricks, have a cool skeleton.
Yeah. No, it's I need something that symbolizes the just walk out, you can leave skeleton. Who I vibe
that
with on a
meme
very
from
personal.
the days of old Earth, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think exactly. I don't think a skeleton is it though.
You don't think that hits the vibe?
Wild.
No, I wonder if we just leave this here and we can maybe come up with something in the meantime.
I like that. I mean, we don't technically need to render it until you check off, this is your inspiring symbol.
A large symbol of your cause, yeah.
Mm.
I realized during the last mission I do not have that. I didn't even think about it. And it seems like it is like a big part of this whole playbook that I have not thought about. So.
I think right now, Ipse's suggestion is you paint a big target on your chest.
I mean, it worked the first time.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, something like that is kind of funny. Right, but yeah. Let me know if anyone has any ideas. I don't want to go into it too much now on mic, but yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Did you say that in that cut loose earlier, Longreach shot down a blimp?
I did. Good times.
Oh no.
True, a small...
Your bit is coming back to bite you.
A small blimp is floating outside your window.
How small are we talking? When someone says a small blimp, I think the size of a house.
Here's what I'll tell you. A screen lights up on this blimp, so it's that size. Like a TV screen. Like this is a personal messenger blimp for you. You guess?
Hang on, just 1 minute, Julius. I need to take this blimp. Crack open the window.
Familiar with messenger blimps?
No, of course she's not familiar with messenger blimps. No one's familiar with messenger blimps. Blimps are stupid. Yes, she cracked. I don't know why I'm... hello and welcome to my anti-blimp soapbox. But she does crack open the window.
I agree with you. Blimps are stupid. Spoilers. The person who sent this is very stupid.
Are they themselves a blimp?
I think we've done that one.
What?
I'm also perplexed by this one, Matt, but... So, I've been sent a blimp ransom note.
Sorry, I've just been so distracted by just the idea of like, hey listeners, drop your Zeppelin sonars in the chat.
Wowie. Listeners, could you not? Thank you.
No, we want Zeppelin fan art, everyone. Don't listen.
Hi listeners, it's your Aunt Philo here. Please don't do this.
Okay. On the screen appears this figure.
Oh, look at this guy. Okay, he's like a thin kind of white guy. He's got a goatee and a mustache. He's wearing like kind of vaguely naval-looking blue or possibly purple gear.
Yeah, he looks like Purple M. Bison.
He looks like Purple M. Bison, but carrying a cool rifle. And with more facial hair. He's also a little less built than M. Bison, but that is 90% of the human race, so, you know.
The clothes are M. Bison.
The clothes are M. Bison.
I'm going to tell you now, because it's not subtle, and you would know this. This guy is a member of the 501st Bastards Division.
He sent us a blimp.
This is interesting, because the 501st Bastards Division, who revere this CalazCon character called Baron Bastardos, who your whole forward operating base is like fiend after. They're sort of suggested to be fans of this sort of controversial, conniving kind of authoritarian figure in a way that's clearly meant to be an analogue for the Jovangelians, to the extent that the Hermit Crabs are a Jovangelian squad whose whole bit is maybe we can get the CalazCon fans who love Baron Bastardos to love us because we're kind of aesthetically adjacent. And I feel like they're probably onto something. Like, CalazCon is a franchise with a long history. I bet that Baron Bastardos' crew have been a veiled representation of the Jovangelians in many CalazCon series. And Jovangelian military uniforms tend to embody that sort of very authoritarian style in it. We're talking a lot of frills and ornamentation. We're talking like kind of 19th century-ish. We're talking kind of like classic Xeon from Gundam. We're talking capes, epaulettes, medals, officer hats, that sort of thing. The problem with this is the 501st are cosplayers, which means everyone in the 501st wants to be the guy who wears the epaulettes. The members of the 501st are locked into a military decorative arms race between each other, with the result being that, Julius, this is maybe... Tell me if this is more funny or more a little uncanny. These people look like parodies of Jovangelian military.
Oh, yeah, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I think True slides open the... It's a sliding window. And she kind of leans forward a little bit out of it. Terminal company, to whom may I direct your message?
See, Julius, this is where it gets worse.
Oh, boy.
Because the figure on the screen says, "Greetings. My name is Force Majeure." Julius, you know this name because we've discussed how Julius is like probably like an old school guy when it comes to appreciating the CalazCon franchise.
Yep.
I think this is the one exception because, notoriously, on one occasion, The CalazCon writers acknowledged the Joe Evangelion Bastardos parallel to the extent that one of Bastardos' lieutenants was based on a real Joe Evangelion general.
Oh.
A general in a generation recently enough where you may have worked with them.
Oh, no, I hate that.
Yeah, On that point, this is where my prep material runs out. Well, other than one thing. We'll get to that. Tell me about the general that Force Majeure is based on.
Yeah, real-life human being, huh?
Yep.
There's no way he's not an asshole. Like, there's just no way, right? Like, he's gotta be just, like, incredibly unpopular and unpleasant, right? Like, I would say highly decorated public figure. They trot him out for ceremonies and stuff, but it's just, like, an absolute nightmare to work with if you are in the Joe Evangelion army.
Right. Yeah, okay, just, like, the most, like, authoritarian, just, like, bootlicking, like...
Well, he's the boot.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Very
right?
good point.
But, like, yeah, like, careerist, right? Like, young, handsome, like, he's very popular with civilians and profoundly unpopular with anyone who has to work with him.
Yeah, exactly. One small addition to that, I do think the general Force Majeure is based on is now deceased.
That's good.
It is, yes. In his lifetime, absolutely. So, 4 words into what this guy is saying, and already atrocious vibes. Force Majeure continues, and I'm going to tell you now, if you let Force Majeure continue, Force Majeure will continue. So, he's about to say a lot of things. I know we have an aversion to understandably crosstalk in this medium. Please just, like, speak up if you at any point would like to interrupt him, because I think it's a not unlikely outcome. Force Majeure continues. My name is Force Majeure, and I come bearing a message to you, Julius. I forget your name and rank, just as you have so clearly forgotten your honor, the honor that a pallbearer should hold dear. Still, the name pallbearer is surely apt. Not for your fallen former friend, but because you bear with you the dead and stolen dreams of the Joe Evangelion people. And now you do not repent, but instead squat in a pilfered fortress worthy of the inestimable Baron Bastardos.
I closed the window. I'm really beginning to think that we should add some air defenses, or, there was that person who crossed into Michael's working area the other day as well. Do I need to be concerned about this? She gestures in the direction of the blimp.
Before you answer that, Julian, I need to give you some information that might have a bit of an impact on your answer.
Hit me with it.
You might have realized, Julius has realized, there was something odd about that speech. Like, okay, attacking your honor and saying, like, being a turncoat is innately bad. Sure, a Baron Bastardos cosplayer would do that.
Lots of people tell me that.
The specific call out of the Joe Evangelion people, this is a CalazCon squad, what's the... And then, it's you. You put some things together about something you remember about the history of that general that Force Majeure is based on, and, like, recollecting some details about him. It dawns on you. You are speaking to that general's son, cosplaying as a character based on his father.
That's perverse.
That general had a family who ended up defecting or being in exile in the Exodus Republic, and his son saw an opportunity to reenact a proxy of his esteemed father who he didn't meet that much.
Oh, that's... I don't care for that.
And in fact, you begin to fill in more details. This is why Force Majeure is the CO of the 501st.
Because of who his dad was?
If we were being glib, we might say that somehow Force Majeure has managed to be, like, a fictional fandom nepotism child? Yes.
Oh, that man is an embarrassment to any possible uniform, even that one. Shall we suit up and shoot him down?
Is it solely the balloon here? Is this a communication, or is this a we await at your gates, force?
You get the impression it's communication mostly from the fact that, like, force majeure has the dignity to realize you're not listening and stop talking, but I think he's glaring at you, he's hoping that you're deliberating and might, open window again. Yeah, you get the sense this is just communication. You've got the sense of the type force majeure is. You're sure that if you'd, left the window open enough, you would eventually got to the hole, and you might wonder why I'm telling you this bit of the speech.
I mean, he's presumably doing that thing where he feels the need to go face to face with his enemy or some such, right? That's honorable to your type?
Oh, please, don't.
Little smile.
He's very embarrassing, and I might have an overdeveloped sense of duty and quite a lot of guilt, but I couldn't consider myself honorable.
I think True just starts kind of rummaging around the room. I think she reaches into the pile of junk, and there is the machine pistol from earlier. It's still got the strap on it. I think she tugs open the desk, and there's some sort of heavy munition, which, again, she pops on the desk. Here it is. And she fetches from a boot stand in the corner, she fetches the nerve whip that she was using last time, which evidently she's gone off and retrieved. Well, I don't know about honor, but I know when I prefer my airspace was kept quiet. Especially when someone knows where my bedroom is. Be my guest. Gestures to the kind of line up on the desk there.
Yeah, no, while this has been happening, Julius has been assembling a rifle that has been, slung over his back and is, taking a position at the window.
True walks over to the window, they sort of share a look, and then True pops open the window and presumably Julius shoots. Do we get a gasp from Blimp Boy before we do so?
Oh, I thought you were also going to shoot. We were going to shoot at the same window.
I was assembling munitions for you, but I'll take the machine pistol then, fuck it.
Yeah, no, that seems fun.
I get the feeling our base is a little bit chaotic.
A little bit.
I feel like
a lot going on.
There's a lot of guns being fired, which, I mean, we are a frontline squad. It's probably not that surprising.
Okay, as you shoot down this blimp, blimp's destroyed. 2. Blimp's remaining. Unknown.
Oh no, it better not be that Assassin's Creed flag thing where there's 150 of them across the entire city, and all of them have cosplaying fascists on them.
We gotta, every time we see a blimp, we gotta just drop everything. It's like when you're playing City and Town or whatever in Smash and the balloon comes by. You gotta stop fighting and pop it.
Yeah.
It's never just gone.
I have a question for you, Julius, which I haven't made any firm decisions either way. It's just going to colour this. It's an idea that occurred to me that's going to colour this going forward, and I wanted your thoughts on it. Do you think that even if it's driven by frustration or grief or misplaced loyalty or misunderstanding or whatever, even if it's incorrect but still plausible, do you think that Force Majeure's father might have died in a way where he would somehow blame it on your defection?
Maybe. It's not impossible, certainly. Maybe there was some sort of offensive I was supposed to be on, and, maybe, I
had a more sort of, indirect, but in some ways more, poetic suggestion, which is, maybe after the PR clusterfuck that was your disappearance, the Joe Evangelions planned a risky but showy military operation as a distraction and a way to try to regain morale and regain some of that standing. And because it was distracting, it was a distraction, it was hasty and reckless, and it got Force Majeure's father killed. But Force Majeure, of course, sees it as you slandered and ruined the honor of the Joe Evangelion military. My father died fixing it.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's embarrassing for him. God. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Asshole. Yeah, great. Fantastic.
God, thinking about it, Force Majeure's relationship with Joe Evangelion politics must be so bizarre.
Yeah, this fucking freak. Just, like, hanging out on the side of a blimp, yelling at a guy. I don't know. Sure. Whatever.
Just to clarify this 100%, the 501st Bastards written cosplay essentially, like, do not break character. Force Majeure, the concept of a real name, is fraught. Force Majeure is named entirely for the fictional Calazar General Force Majeure that is based on Force Majeure's father.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Well, that's a lot of fun. I'm sure he'll be very normal going forward.
Oh, extremely.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at cvblight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.